So that was just something to look at. Not trying to create more work for anybody, but maybe if it makes the
Put it at the
formula easier.
market value then.
If that's over, okay.
They're bitching about
Well,
the
I'll
elevation
give
of
you
the lake and-
give you some ideas, I guess.
You could come up. She's just getting things ready. Yeah, you do, because it's got to be recorded.
I just have to unpause.
Know who you are, right?
Yeah.
I have 5 minutes to go through this whole thing, right?
Whew. Yep,
Dean,
do, because we have another one for
I
public
hated
comment.
that in school when you had to do book reports. You'd read the book and then you had to condense it into.
That's right.
all right.
There you go. You're ready, Barb.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'll have you introduce yourself and go ahead.
Okay, Reginald Lambrecht from Long Prairie, Minnesota. And everyone knows I run Outback and Yonder Forestry Services. A couple months ago, February 6th, there was a meeting here, and I talked to Amanda Hinson about it, and then I read it in the paper that there was a lot of discussion about what to do about the mental health crisis that's being precipitated by, you all have your own opinions, but the drug abuse situation is out of hand in this country. According to what Amanda said and according to what I read in the paper, there needs to be more funding for more facilities. But my question for the county and the public at large is, you get off work, you come home, you open the door to the house, and you got water all over the floor. I mean, just everywhere on the floor. So what do? Do you grab a mop or do you turn off the faucet? And what I'm saying is we can't build our way out of this crisis. We have to start shutting off the faucet. In the forestry work over the last 20-some years, my wife and I and my son employed random people who were looking for a way out, people who were looking for purpose. You would employ these people because they really weren't the criminals that they were brought up to be. So I'm going to try to fast forward because I got 2 minutes, I understand. In this early spring of 21, early March, I was in Arizona, and I got a call from a young lady in Todd County who had graduated with my daughter. She wanted to do forestry work. Well, when I got back to Todd County, I let her know I was here. That was in early spring. Some of the forestry work started early. I went in to pick her up and give her a ride to get her started on a job. We didn't do that. We went to the cafe in town, went to the park so that she could just talk. She didn't contact me to do forestry work. She was looking for a way out of the prostitution, the drug trafficking, and being used as a mule for the last 10 years in this county. I'll fast forward a little bit. That summer, that spring, I had her out on some forestry jobs. Yeah, she was hired in a kite, but she was out there. The interesting thing was we started to go to the River of Life quite early in April, and I met her parents. After church, met her parents, and I explained to her mother, look, she did this on this forestry site, she did this out at my farm, she did this. And her mother, in front of this young lady's 10-year-old daughter, her mother, also in front of members of the church, said, oh, you actually got her to do work? Imagine that. How did you do that? You know, she never works. You know, she's a manipulator and a user. She'll take your money and steal from you. Okay, Munchausen by proxy. I mean, if you're out there dissing your daughter in public, I don't care what her past was, you created that past. You started that past when she was younger. I gotta gather my thoughts. Too much emotion in this. I kept it cool, employed her part of that summer. Always trying to figure out a way to get her past the pimps and the handlers that were using her. Law enforcement in Long Prairie, young man by the name of Kellen McRoberts, met her. We played basketball out at the lake once in a while. And he and I went to the local law enforcement and said, hey, this pimp guy, Darren Holan, the now deceased Darren Holan, was beating her with a baseball bat. Her legs were constantly bruised up, etc. They were shoving glass up her nose. But she couldn't get out. She even went to Hands of Hope once, and they didn't want to see her. Something was really wrong about this situation. It wasn't just the low-life pimps or handlers that were using her. Fast forward to the Rodriguez murder on the 13th of September, 21. Fall forestry work was supposed to start on the 15th. So I stopped by her house right after that murder, like the day after. I didn't even know about the murder. I stopped by and said, hey, what's up? Come into her apartment. A nuclear bomb had went off in her apartment. I'm not just talking like dirty or filthy, you know, that druggies tend to be. Everything was destroyed. Chairs, tables, dressers, lamps, etc. She then had a box of stuff packed. She wanted to go to Prairie St. John's up in Fargo. 2 seconds later, her dad knocked on the door and showed up with a brown paper sack of six pill bottles. She said, Dad, can you wait here for 15, 20 minutes and see if I'm okay? And he said, no, Reggie's here. You'll be fine. So he left. She dumped out these pills, this one bottle, and she swallowed 6 of this heavy sedative. What happened then was I said, okay, I'll be back in 10 minutes. I've got 1 minute left. I said, I'll be back in a couple minutes and I'll bring some coffee and we'll see what the day is gonna bring. Well, by then I ended up taking her to the ER at Alamo in Alexandria. And this is where this gets interesting. Let's screw the HIPAA violations with this mental health stuff, because you're never gonna find out the truth about these people unless you put your boots on the ground and deal with it. When I was at Alamo, they talked to me about what was going on. The next day, that's a HIPAA violation, oh my God. So they talked to me while she was in detox. Subcutaneous tissue damage, black and blue marks. Subcutaneous is when there's tissue damage but that you can't see. The next day, I spent part of the day with her, and this girl was always talking about what had happened. The murders in Long Prairie that she participated in. Everyone knows who Sam Shad was. Everyone in town has come forward to me and told me that Sam Shad did not die of an overdose. He didn't do suicide. He was, quote unquote, I have the names of the people. He was, quote unquote, they stole his car and they beat him to a pulp, and he died 3 days later in the hospital in his mother's arms. The Long Prairie Police Department has been, somebody's putting money in their pocket to keep their mouth shut. Sam Shad did not die of a simple overdose, or it wasn't suicide. Everybody knows. But there's a drug kingpin above this whole situation. Fast forward. She was sent to Thief River Falls, which I didn't know about because they don't tell you that, from Alec on the 16th of September in 21. However, Alec called me up, the administrator at the hospital called me up the next morning, 17th. I sat for an hour and a half with the administrator, Douglas County Sheriff, and somebody in a black suit. BCA. And they grilled me on what was going on with the situation with this girl. And then they told me, you will document everything that's going on with this. And we want to see your documentation in a few months. The young lady ended up getting out of Thief River, coming back to Long Prairie. Darren Holan died on stinking Halloween of 21. She ended up going to jail, then getting transferred to various facilities. After a year of constantly contacting me and talking to me about Sam Shad, several other situations, she ended up at a halfway house in Little Falls. And from that point, we were in contact. I took her around, she asked me to take her around to various places, Little Falls, Linden Hills, City of Little Falls, Lindbergh Center, to do volunteer work, which is how they acclimate people back into society once they've been out there, as in out there. We then went to my DNR officer, my DNR forester, Jason Kern at the Little Falls DNR. She told him where she had been, what she had been doing, and he hired her on the spot, part-time, knowing that she had obligations to follow through with Dan and Reba and Kathy. We went and had lunch, went swimming, came out to my place, met her mother out there, know this, that I had been in contact with her parents constantly for that year and a half. But there were always these vicious throwdowns from her mother. Just no matter what she did, it was wrong, it was stupid, it was no good. So we get out to my place, and the young lady goes, Mom, you wouldn't believe it. I got my foot in the door with the DNR. And we're going to start this job up by Cushing, Reggie and I, and next week. This is the best I can do and the worst I can do. You're not going to follow through. You never follow through. You never followed through in college. You never followed through with, I almost said the daughter's name. You never followed through with your daughter. You never do anything right. You have never done anything right in your life. You're not going to follow through. There's no way you're going to do that. Reggie, why would you even waste your time with her? She's not going to be able to do it. This went on for 2 minutes. Seriously. I mean, it was just, it was a narrative that her mother has been practicing on this mentally ill person the last 20 stinking years. So we talk about mopping up the floor, building more facilities to take care of mental health issues. I walked up to her mother and I punched her in the shoulder and I said, whatever her name was, I can't say the name, shut the F up. By then, this young lady had a facial contusive stroke, a lower lip stroke from the trauma. I had noticed that over the years. Rita Dolan, this young lady did volunteer work at the park with Rita Dolan. Rita Dolan called me and said, what's up with this woman that she's got this stroke?
Sir, we're gonna have to.
All right, we're gonna end this.
Yeah,
We
we
got
are,
one
I'm
more.
sorry. Yeah,
Can we address that one quick?
yes, we will.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
still take the next
Yeah.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, come on, Mr. Lundberg.
I will be brief.
Yeah. Just state your name, Tammy.
Good morning. I'm Tammy Sabula. I'm the elementary principal here in Long Prairie. I'm also a mom of a senior in high school. And I'm here really briefly to talk about the opioid settlement. And I have applied for some funding for that, and I believe it's coming to you guys today. We are working on post-prom. And the reason we have post-prom is to keep kids in a safe environment for that evening. Studies have shown how many kids get into things that they shouldn't be doing on prom night, after prom. And so many, many years ago, Long Prairie started post-prom, and groups of parents over the years keep it going. And our group of parents is no different. And so we are working on that. We've applied for grants funding for our post-prom to support this evening. What we do is we have inflatables, we have entertainment, we're having a hypnotist and a magician this year. We have lots of prizes for the kids, tons of food, something to entice every child to stay there. Last year, we had about 125 kids stay. I know I've heard from the committee as well as from community members that they're worried that this would be something that schools across the county would ask for over and over again. And I honestly, my comment is I hope so. I hope that schools ask for and get this funding year after year, because if it saves one child one time, saves their life, I think it's worth it. And so I hope that you would support this request. And if you have any questions, I'm always free to answer as well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Good morning, and to the Todd County Regular Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 2nd. The time is 9:03. All commissioners are present, along with the auditor, treasurer, coordinator, and the county attorney. We will now stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll ask, are there any amendments to the agenda?
Yes, Madam Chair, if we could add 4.6, approving Thunder Lodge liquor license.
Okay. Are there any other amendments? If not, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move the amended agenda, Madam Chair.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nasca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries. And consent items, Denise?
Today we have the minute meeting approval for March 19th, 2024. Resignation of Jeremy Poof, Deputy 22524. Resignation of Ariana Don, Jailer 22824. Hire Nathan Costine, full-time deputy, start date to be determined. And hire care coordinator, social worker Whitney Wilson, start date to be determined. And the one we just added, 4.6, Thunder Lodge liquor license.
Okay, hearing the consent items, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Nasca. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
First
Denise?
item I have today is the auditor warrants for February. Well, it says February, but anyhow, background is sent for your review. The recommendation is to approve the March 2024 auditor warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $837,582.69.
Is there a motion for the auditor warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call?
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Nasca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item I have is the commissioner warrants. Background is sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $103,892.36.
Okay, is there a motion for the commissioner warrants?
So moved.
Motion by Nasca. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call?
Commissioner Nasca?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next item I have then would be the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants. Background was sent for your review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service Commissioner warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $117,148.19.
I ask for a motion for the Health and Human Service Commission warrants.
So moved.
Motion by Byers, second.
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes.
The next one I have then is the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants. Background was sent for review. Recommendation is to approve the Health and Human Service SSIS warrants with an ACH and a manual payment totaling the amount of $20,216.50.
I ask for a motion for the Health and Human Services SSIS warrants.
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Newman. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Denny?
Yes.
Commissioner Newman?
Yes.
Commissioner Byers?
Yes.
Commissioner Nazca?
Yes.
Commissioner Becker?
Yes. Then we'll call it the Hands of Hope. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I prepared a proclamation, and I am hoping that you will approve proclaiming this month as Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Okay,
Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month calls attention to the fact that sexual violence is widespread and impacts every person in every community. And whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month aims to raise public awareness about sexual abuse, harassment, and assault, and educate communities about how to be involved in prevention. And whereas this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month campaign theme, Building Connected Communities, calls on each of us to work together to prevent sexual abuse, harassment, and assault. We believe when anyone experiences sexual violence, every community member is affected. And whereas by striving to build more connected, respectful, and inclusive communities to promote our collective well-being and protect the risk of sexual violence, we believe all of our communities will be safer and stronger by making them more equitable for people of all gender identities and sexual orientations, races, and ethnic backgrounds, ages, faiths, and abilities. Now therefore be it resolved that we must strive to create strong, connected communities that take care of one another and make decisions to ensure the safety and well-being of others to end sexual violence. And be it further resolved that the Todd County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and to support and promote the Building Connected Communities campaign as an opportunity for our community to join with others around the world in committing to prevent sexual abuse, assault, and harassment. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for the work you do, and then I'll ask for a motion for approval of the proclamation.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion? Like I said, thank you for all the work you do. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Would we be able to get a quick photo?
Sure.
We want to put it on our website. so
Okay.
Everybody look pretty.
Okay.
Photo ops, Bob.
Yeah.
She usually has Chris take pictures. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's what's happening.
You got it, Jackie?
Okay.
Come up and join us.
You can join us, John. You gotta make the picture.
Can we all fit?
Yeah, I think we can all fit.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks, Jen. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
Yep. What?
Okay. Then we'll call the library up. This is Great River Regional Library.
Somebody wants to hide. Good morning. I'm Karen Punsack. I'm Executive Director for Great River Regional Library.
I'm Kathy Parrish. I'm the LSC Library Service Coordinator for Eagle Bend and Staples.
And I'm Amanda Worspan, and I'm the Library Services Coordinator for Long Prairie and Gray Eagle.
So thank you for some time this morning on the agenda. Great River Regional Library is a 6-county partnership. Todd County is one of our strong partners. And each year we come to the county board to present on annual activities, and then we'll come back later in the year when we're around budget setting. It's a pleasure to meet Commissioner Byers and Jackie Bauer, our new faces since we were here last time. So we're excited to share our story about the library and answer any questions you might have. So that 6-county arrangement, you can see the map there. We actually have 32 libraries across the 6-county system. We have 4 here in Todd County. Then we also have a partnership with the city of Sartell called GRL To Go, where there's a locker delivery system that's in their community center. So the library system operates as one library across the 6 counties. As a patron, you experience the same policies regardless of if you're in Staples or Delano or St. Cloud, and you can bring the materials from one place to another. And we're very proud of the fact that we're able to operate so efficiently and offer that seamless experience for patrons. On the next page, you can see our regional overview and then the 4 locations here in Todd County. We had 95,000 card holders across all of the locations last year. And in the 4 communities that we serve here in Todd County, we had 50,000 items circulated in the Staples Library, 39,000 in Long Prairie, almost 17,000 in Eagle Bend, and then 8,900 in Gray Eagle. So you can see that we have pretty strong usage in all of those smaller communities as well as the large communities. And when you look at total borrowers of the 95,000 for the region, 23,696 used the digital library, which is a location that doesn't really exist on a map, but is our 2nd largest circulating library for the region. And in each location, Staples had 1,765 borrowers, Long Prairie 1,440, Eagle Bend 437, and Gray Eagle 332. When you think about the community, our smaller communities, like Gray Eagle doesn't have that many more people than 332 borrowers, so it's a pretty significant saturation point when you think about it. So even our smaller libraries are very well used, and we rely on all of the cities for the facilities that we offer services in. And Kathy will be telling you a little bit about the upgrade in Eagle Bend coming fairly soon. And well, I think it's almost done, right?
It is done.
Yeah. And then Staples is actually one of our newer facilities that was renovated about 15 years ago now, but it's actually one of the most beautiful facilities we have in the whole region. On the next page, you can kind of see some of the highlights from last year on a regional basis. We had a record number of kids sign up for summer reading program. We almost hit 13,000 kids participating and keeping themselves reading throughout the summer, fighting that summer slide. Locally, you know, how that program looks in each library is unique to the community, but we're very proud of the fact we're able to offer that across the whole region. And it doesn't matter if you live in Bertha or Hewitt, you can still sign up for the summer reading program, even if the library isn't actually in your community. And then some of the bigger projects we did last year, one is called Testify. It was funded through our Arts and Cultural Heritage Legacy Amendment Grant. And that was a partnership with the the Diane and Alan Page Foundation. So Georgie Page is Alan Page's daughter, and you can see her there in that photo. Her mother actually collected a lot of historical artifacts related to slavery and Americana across the ages, and they had an exhibit down in Minneapolis. So we worked with their foundation to create high-resolution images of that exhibit, and now are circulating those banners across our entire region. They first appeared in St. Cloud. They're now distributed in 5 other locations. On April 30th, at 7 p.m., there is going to be a virtual presentation by Alan Page himself with his daughter Georgie, talking about the exhibit. And we're really proud of the fact that we worked with them to develop that here at Great River. Other regions across the state actually replicated the exhibit, and it's now available across the entire state because of our work. Also, we worked with an organization called EPIC, which is based out of St. Cloud, but has a regional reach. EPIC stands for Exploring Potential Interests and Careers, and they have an event at the St. Cloud Tech College every year where different areas of the workforce can talk to 9th graders about what potential careers might be and as they prepare their path in high school. And we worked with that organization to actually put those demonstrations in a box that people can check out. So you can see there the health sciences kit, and it has different activities that kids can do at home to see whether they'd be interested in health sciences or architecture or construction or IT. And those are available for checkout across the entire region. We're actually looking to expand that project. Now, it started out with our ARPA dollars, but we've had a lot of interest in making it even more available. So if you ever are interested, just search EPIC on the catalog and you'll be able to check one out too. The next slide shows some of the stories happening in Todd County libraries themselves, and I'll let the experts talk about that.
So yeah, like Karen had mentioned, the Eagle Bend Library is finished. We have expanded the library part. We moved the museum out into the new addition. I can't say enough how amazing it is. We had a class visit of over 50 kids come. They had room. There was so much room. Then we had an adult program where they were doing crafts and stuff. And again, I had plenty of room for everything. So it's been great. We're going to be able to increase our collection. And like I said, just even having room for people to move around and stuff. We are having an expansion open house on Saturday, April 13th at 9 to noon. You are all welcome. We'd love it if you could come and see our library. We think it's a great place. The Friends of the Library are going to be serving refreshments and stuff because we're also celebrating our 42nd anniversary of being the library in Eagle Bend. Staples, it has been doing really well. Our biggest success story is our story time. We offer 2 times a month, Saturdays and Wednesdays. We used to get like 6 kids, 8 kids. It has just blown up. On the average, we're getting 14, 16 kids coming. It has been fantastic. One of our library assistants had started a co-op for homeschooling families in Staples, and that again too has gone really well. She's getting an excellent turnout of families coming in and checking out their resources and stuff.
All right, in Long Prairie, you see a picture of our new meeting room, one that was vacated in the building we're in. The city helped us acquire that, and that has been very positive for both local, but even people outside of town. We've always had phone calls, can we borrow your meeting room? And we always used to have to say no, so it has been very nice to tell them, absolutely. So that is a good asset to the community as well. Like the library, it's free of charge, so people can sign up to use that. We also structurally had new windows just put in, so thanks to the city for that also. And structurally, keeping on that note, Gray Eagle, we got new lights this year too, which was a big benefit to that building as well. As far as what we do, programming, we see a lot of the community that doesn't show up on those statistics with card holders because we have a print-to-go service. People in the community who don't use it, we see new people all the time. They come and print off return labels, pay statements, things like that. And so we get to help people with those kind of things a lot. So between print to go, digital hotspots, it's more than just the books and the movies that people come to us for. And so overall, between that and the programs, it's been a good year.
So we want to thank you for your support of the library. We want to especially thank Commissioner Tim Dunny, who's a representative on our board and has learned a lot in this last year and a half. He actually is bringing forward ideas on what we can do for programs now, so we're really excited about that. And we're just grateful to have Todd County as part of our 6-county partnership. If you have any questions about the library or things that you'd want to see, we are always open for improvement. So thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may ask,
Yes.
the Long Prairie Library, there's a meeting room.
Correct.
Is that open for anybody to use? I'm only asking because a lot of times we get called for things to be hosted up here if somebody needs a meeting room and we're booked. So I just kind of want to know if there's hours or,
Yeah, so it would be during the library open hours. It is limited to that.
okay.
But absolutely.
Okay. Seats, what, about a dozen people? Maybe not quite.
I mean, yeah, you could fit a dozen. You can see there's about 10 chairs around the table. There's 12 chairs. There's another wooden table in the corner.
All right.
But
And they can just contact the library?
yep, just call us during our
Thank
open
you.
hours and
Booking
you can
online,
reserve.
too,
We
don't
don't have
Oh,
online
okay.
booking.
Okay.
But yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Just thank you. Appreciate all the work and efforts.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
You
I'll be-
taking care of the ditching?
I am
Denise?
taking care of Nancy's, yes. So her board action today is acknowledgement receipt of County Ditch 33 whole harmless agreement ditch maintenance. She has attached a whole harmless agreement signed by the owner and aerial photos. The recommendation is, as acting as ditch authority, acknowledge the receipt of a whole harmless agreement petition to clean a section of CD 33 on parcels 20-0022800 and 20-0022600 Reynolds Township, Section 20. And I am sorry, I'm not familiar with this. It looks like it's a Nathan Mittendorf and Denise Mittendorf. And they must be petitioning for this stuff in the purple.
So if we have any difficult questions, we should ask you?
Sure, the way my day is going, go for it. Nancy is just out, so she asked if I would present it. So there must not be any issues with it.
Okay.
She's not here, but
I will ask for a motion for the acknowledged receipt of County Ditch 33 whole harmless agreement for ditch maintenance.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Nazca. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Denny. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
thank you.
Nice when they pay for it themselves.
Jackie?
It's nice when they do it themselves.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Chair, Commissioners. Few things to present this morning. First one is the care coordinator personnel. Some background at the Commissioners Board meeting on March 5th, 2024. The care coordinator job description was approved. The registered nurses and social workers working as care coordinator are Veronica Churchin, Terry Keene, Gwen Berry, Angela Schleicher, I know I always say that, Nicole Hagel, Lisa Thielman, Morgan Hickerson, Trista Boyer, and Rebecca Jerstead. Your options are to approve the care coordinator personnel or to not approve. It's our recommendation that you approve the identified care coordinator personnel. And again, this is just to place the staff member identified here into the org chart properly under care coordinators.
Okay. I would ask for a motion for the care coordination personnel.
So moved.
Motion by Newman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion. I think we had this at work session of personnel also, so. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
All right, thank you. To follow that, there's a board action form to eliminate the registered nurse job description as we've identified those staff, those nurses being care coordinators. Some background: at the Commissioner Board meeting on March 5th, 2024, the care coordinator job description was approved. The care coordinator job description eliminates the need for a registered nurse job description. Your options are to approve the elimination of the registered nurse job description or to not approve. The recommendation is to approve the elimination of the registered nurse job description.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to eliminate the registered nurse job descriptions.
So moved.
Motion by Danny, second by
Second.
Byers, I think.
Yeah. Second.
Okay, discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
All right, our next board action form, a resolution establishing support to seek funding from Sourcewell for mental health co-response and jail program growth in Region 5. Some background: the Region 5 counties, Cass, Crow Wing, Morrison, Todd, and Wadena, would like to seek funding through mental health community impact funds with Sourcewell. Funding would allow counties to develop and enhance current co-response, allowing for continued and increased collaboration. The increased collaboration with law enforcement will address crisis-driven issues related to mental health. Your options are to approve the resolution or to not approve. It's our recommendation that you approve the resolution establishing support to seek funding from Sourcewell for mental health co-response and jail program growth in Region 5. The resolution is a requirement for the application, and that is attached.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion for the mental health core responders and jail program growth in Region 5 for funding. Motion by Byers. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Denny. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you. That funding, we will be applying, I think the application is due early May, late,
April 24th.
okay. And for the amount of,
$500,000. So it's
For
pretty big
Region
for
5.
Region 5.
yeah,
Is that through Sourcewell, Jackie?
it is.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good morning. All right, our next board action form, voluntary termination of the water program delegation. Todd County Health and Human Services is requesting to voluntarily terminate the delegation agreement with the Minnesota Department of Health for its non-community public water systems as of April 30th, 2024. Health and Human Services came to this decision after reviewing the financial implications and requirements for the delegation. HHS will provide MDH with all the requested information on current licenses and any additional information as requested to ensure a successful transition. Your options are to voluntarily terminate the delegation agreement or to not voluntarily terminate the agreement. It's our recommendation that you voluntarily terminate the delegation agreement with the Minnesota Department of Health for its non-community public water systems as of April 30th, 2024.
Okay, I will ask for a motion for the voluntary termination of the water program for Todd County. Is there a
So moved. Madam Mayor.
motion by Newman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Byers. Discussion. Jackie, this is for country, not for town people, correct?
I believe it's all of
for-
Todd County, but primarily.
No, it's anyone outside of municipal water systems. So it's our food pools and lodging licensed establishments that have wells, correct?
Okay. And we're doing this, the cost, we've gotten into the cost of this program. I've been questioned why we would voluntarily do this, but a lot of it has to do with cost.
Correct. We do charge our establishment $70 per well, and it requires our sanitarian to do that inspection. The state does not charge. They have funds through EPA that pay for them to do this, and the majority of counties in the state do have the Department of Health do these sanitary surveys and collections of water samples. They also use their own labs, so there's no lab cost for the state either.
Okay, and how often throughout the year do they have to test this water?
It's an annual water sample, and then every 3 years is a sanitary survey where they go into more detail of inspecting the well and its requirements.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
And
Thank
that
you.
would have required us to add additional
There's a
FTEs.
letter, Barb, sorry, Jackie, that I will need a signature from you on as well
Okay.
to send to the state.
And, you know, with David becoming a sanitarian, this would have required additional assistance to be able to manage this program, or FTEs to do that, so it's been an additional cost as well.
Okay.
Okay, our next board action form is, and actually the next two are for opioid funding proposals. The first one is peer support in the jail for Wellness in the Woods. Some background: Todd County Opioid Settlement Advisory Council met on March 20th, 2024, and reviewed the attached funding request. This request would contract with Wellness in the Woods to provide peer support to interested inmates. The funding would cover 39 in-person sessions at $500 a session. For our male inmates, let's see here, which is inclusive of staff time, mileage, and administrative costs. For our male inmates, 39 sessions at $300 a session, which is inclusive of our staff time, mileage, and administrative costs for our female inmates. Your options are to approve the opioid settlement funding request for Wellness in the Woods to provide the peer support in the jail, or to not approve. It's our recommendation that you approve the funding request for Wellness in the Woods to provide peer support in the jail.
Okay, is there a motion for providing peer support in jail? It should be for Wellness in the Woods.
For Wellness in the Woods.
Yeah.
So moved.
Motion by Denny. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Nazca. Discussion. Jackie, they've worked with us before, correct?
And they've done some peer support for, I think it's the last year or previous year as well.
Correct, yep. We've had this same request approved in '23. This is now moving forward in April of '24 until the funds are spent, so there's not as much of a restriction on the timeline.
Okay. And they've also worked in Wadena County too, haven't they? I believe so.
So, yes.
Okay. With that, let's see. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you.
Madam
We've had some
Chair.
great results on that peer support
What?
as well.
I'm
sorry.
finished. No. Before we move on 9.4,
Yes.
you had a motion and a second, and did you ask for a vote? I do not recall. I think we went right into this one.
Okay, we'll go back to 9.4. I
sorry.
thought we did. And
Well,
that
maybe
was
you did, but-
determining of the water program.
And we had Newman making the motion and Byers second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And carries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
We'll
Denise.
just be double covered in case
Yeah,
I missed it.
absolutely.
Narrow and straight.
All right.
So now
Anything
we're
else, Jack?
to
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay, no,
interrupt you.
that's okay.
9.6.
All right.
All right, lastly, again, opioid settlement funding proposal for Long Prairie Gray Eagle post-prom. Some background: the Todd County Opioid Settlement Advisory Council met on February 21st, 2024, and reviewed the attached funding request and approved for funding. The request would provide the Long Prairie Gray Eagle post-prom with funds to be used for entertainment, food, prizes, and student activities. Your options are to approve the opioid settlement funding requests or to not approve. And we left that recommendation open for discussion or a decision by the board. The request is for $6,500 as well.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, we have
Yes.
discussion before we,
Absolutely. We'll open up for discussion.
Perfect.
Okay, Commissioner Newman?
If I may.
Oh, yes, please.
Madam Chair, in 2023, We received $210,000 for opioid funding, just over that. And currently, we have $277,657. We've used about 88,000 of that fund to date, as well.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
my thing would be if we're gonna do it for Long Prairie, we might as well do it for Osakis. I represent Osakis, Sauk Center. I got a little bit of Melrose. So if you're gonna give 6,500 to Long Prairie, we might as well offer it to the other school districts within my district, because it's not fair.
If I may, Madam Chair, I did
Yes.
send a message out to my fellow public health directors in the central district, which is about 12 counties, and none of the counties had received requests like this. I will be honest, I do have some concerns when it comes to this, as it's not reaching corner to corner, border to border in our county. You know, as we have the attached criteria, it does, but the criteria is fairly vague at best. It does keep kids busy that night, but it does narrow our dollars we could be utilizing for things like peer support that would cover all of the county.
Madam Chair, if I may, from an audit standpoint, I don't know that post-prom activities would pass the sniff test in an audit when it comes to federal grant dollars, and the opioid settlement is federal dollars. And what I don't want to see is, I'm all in favor, but I'm just saying that when it comes to audit, if that gets pulled, it then becomes the taxpayer's responsibility to pay that. So then we don't have a budgeted item for this, so it would become a levy line item, and we don't have that. So then it comes from the general fund, which is taxpayers' dollars. That's all I'm going to say on it from an audit standpoint. I kind of agree with Jackie. I analyzed this as well when I first seen it. I don't know all the criteria in opioid. I would think if there was like an educational basis, if a speaker was coming in and doing a program, that would be different. I get the gist of keeping them safe. I understand that, but I also have to look at the financial side of the world.
And Madam Chair, my kids went through post-prom and it was great. And they loved it. They had a lot of fun and it did keep them busy all night. I just, as Denise had said, I just worry that this really doesn't truly meet the intent of the opioid funding.
Madam Chair, I think we should maybe table this and get more information from the auditors, and we can always bring it back.
When is the post-prom scheduled to be? Do we have a date on that?
I don't, Tammy, do you?
So we would have one meeting prior to that?
Just to clarify, these funds are a reimbursement. So we need to get invoices from, and this is the way it's worked with all this funding, just like Wellness in the Woods sends us an invoice after the costs have incurred. So if we decided at a later time to reimburse, we could do that, Lou, just so you're aware. Also, as far as reporting, so Jenna and I just completed the opioid reporting for 2023. We report on actual costs incurred, right, that we've paid out. And then we need to link it back to one of the criteria in the memorandum of agreement. So again, as far as what we've had to do so far, Denise, just so you're aware, is we have to every time is link it back to one of these criteria. And that's where the board needs to decide, does it meet the criteria or not? Because I believe that that's how they will determine that we were using these dollars in the best intent.
If I may.
Yes.
I mean, I do want to just mention that I did get some, feedback from Long Prairie Public individuals that are associated with treatment in our community. They tend to speak that this is a good idea. I'm telling you what they've told me. In support of this request, I definitely want to make sure that every commissioner understands what the criteria is. I don't think any of us have read completely what this criteria is, so it's hard to make an informed decision today. I understand the committee has looked at it, but I don't think the commissioners have had enough time to look at it. So, personally, I'm in favor of tabling also until we get audit information, and then clear understanding of the, the commitments here. And, youth are important. I will say youth are obviously important, but we need to make sure that we are fair and cover every part of our constituent base if this is a moving forward deal, so.
And
That's
just
what
so
I
you
have.
know, there are 12 school districts, Randy, in our county. So it would touch 12 school districts.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
I'd like to ask if we do table this, that potentially the Long Prairie Grey Eagle School District comes back with a speaker or something directed at, prevention of drug use, something like that. At least give us something to, if we were to apply the money to it, if we could actually justify it.
Commissioner
Like,
Daly?
like something itemized?
Yeah,
or some
something that
type
says
of-
that we're gonna
You
have
know,
the
and
speaker
possibly
come
the
to.
cost of the speaker.
Yeah, like
which,
to reimburse the cost of the
versus
speaker. or something.
$6,500, if it's a $800 speaker, then it would cover the cost of the speaker versus
Right, I mean,
cost of the entire event.
I think, I'm agreeing with Commissioner Noska. I think it has to be touched back to something drug prevention, drug
and right,
related.
we're probably preventing by having the event, yes,
I
but
get that,
it's
but-
gotta be somewhere
You know, you have
directed.
a
I
guest
think we
speaker
could do
coming
better
in.
targeted education and opioid use, and if, as we look towards that prevention of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, the comments that I got from the constituents in Long Prairie, or a constituent, I'll clarify, a constituent, was that, there is an increased fentanyl use in Long Prairie School District. I don't know the extent of it. And I don't know, what age groups are using it. All of us have children in school districts and have had children in school districts, so we wanna make sure we educate people and keep them away from this stuff. But, the same token, let's get it directed and let's make sure it's effective. And if it is something that's effective for the entire county, then all of our constituents should enjoy or should get that, reap the benefit of that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
even how many kids are attending post-prom versus how many kids have the opportunity? Or what's the total to the volume that we would be serving as well?
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that different school districts open it up to different age groups. I know in Staples, it was always the senior class, and it was always after graduation that they do theirs. So it's not after a prom, it was always after graduation. So, I'm hearing, go ahead,
I'll
Bob.
make a movement that we table this until we get the information needed from an auditing standpoint, from a itemization standpoint, and go from there.
Okay, and at this time, it will be tabled, be brought up at the next meeting, which would be April,
20th,
what day?
16th?
16th.
April 16th? Okay.
So we will look for
We'll
that
go ahead
at,
and table it, and then
on the board meeting.
No,
more
I've
information.
got a question, Barbara, if I may.
Yes.
In this case, Denise and Jackie, if we were to say, they were to come with, they had a guest speaker coming to promote this, now, is there some way we could cover a meal for an event, an event like that? Part of that, just
Cover
a little more
meals?
coverage, or
Usually
is it
they
just
don't.
No.
only guest speaker? Okay, I'm just trying to put a little direction toward them, so they.
Federal
know what they can.
criteria for grants and utilization of those dollars are very restrict when it comes to food and
Okay.
handouts and prizes and,
Okay,
yeah, it's gotta be solely for the purpose of the education and not for other.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then we'll go into standing reports. Auditor Treasurer.
Well, tax statements hit the mail just before Easter, and our phones have been busy, and our mail has been just as busy. I am surprised. We have a tray full already of payments, which is great to see. A lot of work getting done. Yesterday, the phones were busy, counter was busy already. Moving forward, now we'll just ramp up for collecting taxes, and we'll ramp up for getting prepared this summer for budgets, and audit is still going on. They're off-site, but they're wrapping up loose ends and hope to be here sometime in May to present. They're hoping, they don't think they'll be right in the first one, but maybe the second meeting in May which then loops us into starting budget process. And then also we will have a very busy summer with training for elections. Rick also wanted me to mention, don't forget the Todd County Development Corp. Annual Dinner at the Breville Community Center on April 11th at 6 p.m. So we have that posted. And if you're attending, just so you have that in your calendars.
Okay, thank you. County Attorney?
The posting for the legal assistant position in our office has been really popular. We hope to start interviews sometime soon. Other than that, we're staying busy. We've had some high-profile cases in our office, as you know, in the last month or so. And so we're just trying to stay afloat. Thank you.
Thank you. County Coordinator?
This past week, I met with Rick Utek from the Todd County Development Corporation to find out more about their programs and what they do. I also met with our own Mitch Johnson from Facilities and found out more about the buildings and other concerns. Mike Wisniewski gave me access to the Minnesota weather reports in lieu of the snowstorm that we were going to possibly get and did get. I attended the Leadership Summit with Commissioners Becker, Newman, and Byers, and I thought it was excellent. 3-day training, very good. I toured the Expo building with Facilities Mitch Johnson to take note of any repairs. And then later today, I'll be meeting with Todd County Extension to learn more about their office.
Thank you. We'll go into commissioners' reports. Commissioner Denny.
Yep, had a busy last couple of weeks with Crow Wing Watershed, Prairie Lakes, Emergency Service Board, the Library Board. All good things happening. I mean, nothing crazy to report. Had a few phone calls after taxes went out. Other than that, it was, I mean, I just told them to come to our meeting and come get educated, or else reach out for questions or talk to our assessors and whatnot. But other than that, nothing major to report other than my normal.
Commissioner Newman.
Yes, Madam Chair. On 19th, I was at the Sauk River Watershed. On the 25th, our county's providing technology. We did a Zoom meeting due to the fact of the snow. On the 26th, personnel. Wednesday was AMC and the leadership. The keynote speaker was Amy Leaker, and I thought she did a fantastic job. This was one place where we got to sit with the president of AMC, former presidents of AMC, former president of NACO, Mary Jo, and that was the head of, all the counties in the United States. So, I mean, it was really good to do one-on-one. I learned a lot from the city, metro counties, Scott, Ramsey, Washington, all of them. So, and they got to know who Todd County was. That was a good thing. So, that's all I got.
Commissioner Naska.
Yeah, so I was on a little bit of a vacation with the wife here prior, so I did miss a couple of meetings, but I have been receiving calls about Denise's department there, the taxes and valuations and whatnot, so really looking forward to the BAA meeting, when that comes up. Otherwise, nothing really new or outlandish to report on.
Commissioner Ayers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attended facilities meeting last week, safety committee. Sat down with Chris Oden for an hour. Probably could have sat with him for a decade and tried to figure it all out. But I haven't received any calls yet, so either coming or Denise is getting them all, I guess. Which is great, If it's a yes, I'll take care of it, but no, you need to take care of it, okay?
Okay, got it.
And AMC leadership was great. I mean, the people we met were amazing, and it was good to spend time with other commissioners and with Jackie. In my 30-plus years of going to conferences like this and, associations and stuff, that was hands down the best best 3 days I've spent in one of those type of scenarios, so really good stuff. That's it.
Okay. I had, on the 21st, we had attended the annual feedlot meeting. 22nd, we had facility and safety. The 26th, we had personnel. I also attended the leadership meeting. And as Randy stated before, we were with a lot of the metro counties and so forth, and we had to come up with something that we all had in common. And we're all smiling because when Randy was talking about it, but we've all shot a gun, we've all milked a cow, but none of us have shot a cow. So that was our saying. So with that, if there's nothing more to come yes.
Chair, I was so reminded by my chief to remind everybody that the Osakis lid hearing and notices have been sent to all property owners. We have been getting a few calls on that.
Okay.
And the meeting will be on April 16th in Osakis at the school at 6 PM.
16th?
Yeah, I believe it's.
The lid?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 16th. So anyhow, I'm just letting you know that that has been sent out and people got their notices.
Okay.
So.
Is there any other to come before the board? If not, we will set recess till April 16th. Thank you. We'll go into work session. Let's give us 5 minutes or so. Thank you.
16th of the 11th, no, now I'm confused after I said it.
What's that?
Which meeting, or that lid meeting, is it the 11th or the 16th?
Oh,
It is, okay. I like just lost it after you said it to me, I was like,
I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
call
And
it
willing,
on
no,
my phone.
Are we here and ready?
no limit to that.
We'll
We
go
are
ahead.
ready. So first I want to introduce you to Breezy Martin. She's our new child protection supervisor. John would have been here, but he is out under the weather today, so sends his regrets. So we have Breezy here to help me through this, so.
Nice
Morning.
to meet all of you. I've met some of you in different meetings, but nice to meet all of you.
We are very happy to have her. She's doing great. So, the one agenda item on here is, you know, as we see people come and go, we do look at our positions and we think how do we want to move forward? How should we move forward with the staff that we have, and what the criteria is? It's always changing from year to year, sometimes day to day, month to month. So, we are here in front of you because we have brought forward, we have 2 openings for social workers in child protection, and then 1 in children's mental health that we're trying to, so 3 social workers under John in child services. My question to him at one point, I said, do we need to fill that with a social worker? We can entertain possibly moving that social worker position to a case aide, as I think there's a lot of paperwork and support work that can be done to the for the social workers so they can work up to their degree. So some things that John and I think Breezy talked about, and I thought there's a lot of opportunity that we can do things differently and fill one of those positions, if approved by board, with a case aide, administrative staff versus with a social worker. The position for social workers is a grade 10, and a case aide is a grade 5, which could be a potential savings of just over $17,000 roughly, based on you know, the applicants and what experience they have and who's applying. Case aides cannot bill. Social workers can bill, but we believe if we bring on a case aide, it'll free up some time for social workers to work more directly with their clients, have additional time with them, which would add targeted hits and then bring in more opportunities for revenue as well.
Yeah, and we also think it'd hold retention. Right now, our social workers come and go, and they get overwhelmed with a lot of the paperwork and making sure things are scanned into the right folders, and just all of the little tedious things, especially losing the Family Visitation Center in Long Prairie currently. We've been having to cover that, so we're paying a social worker to do the visits versus we could be paying a case aide who'd be about half the cost. And they take 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours per visit. And then we have, you know, each person has about 10 families that we have to do visits for. And so that takes up a majority of their time, including a lot of transportation. We don't have a lot of public transportation out here, so we help a lot. Yeah. So we help a lot with the families and transporting and kids and things like that, where a case aide could definitely help doing that, rather than having a social worker who could be doing their case notes, which go in front of the court, and making sure that those are documented and timely and things like that they get behind on, because that's the least of their worries when they have, 20 phone calls every day. And so case aid would be significantly helpful, just getting all of their organization in board, and then doing a lot of making sure our hits are in, and just making sure the background pieces and getting those checks for our social workers, hey, you're behind on this, can you do it? Or the other SSIS things.
Which is our software system.
Yeah, sorry. Just to make sure our checks are in, and so they can help with a lot of that, and making sure that we are getting 4E funding faster, or the other funding for our kids or our CWTCM hits are in, rather than waiting for that to be recouped and then everybody stressing at the end of the year.
Okay.
So, one thing we also talked about, Breezy and John are working with their staff on is permanency in accordance to timelines. Our out-of-pocket costs for the county have increased, and those are court ordered, but we feel that we can do a better job in bringing those costs down.
Yeah.
With better utilization of staff and timelines as well.
Yeah, our timelines for cases are supposed to be 365 days. We've had a few cases that are going over 2 to 3 years. And so cutting that cost would be significant.
Okay. Jackie, when you started, you've got 2 openings for social workers, correct?
Well, 3 under John, 2 in child protection.
Okay, so you actually got 3.
Have 3.
Okay, but 2 under John.
Right.
And
3
so
under
you
John.
would keep that one open one for social worker?
Yes. So
And
we'll-
then one you would transfer into this case aid, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
correct.
That social worker one is still open?
We have 2 social worker ones, one in child
Yep.
protection and one in children's mental health.
Okay.
Well, actually, we have 2 child protection social workers, one in children's mental health. We'll eliminate one of the child protection social worker positions, eliminate it, and turn it into a case aid
Yep.
position.
And
So
you'll
we'll
still have
3
2.
openings, but 2 social workers and
And
one
one-
case aid.
Okay. And my understanding, if you've been advertising this for quite some time and have not,
How long have we had a social worker position open?
Since
Quite a
before
while.
I got here, yeah, so, and I started in November, and I know there was one, it was Mickey's.
Yeah.
So like July-ish, and then I know Angie just left, which is our other one, and then we just opened the CMH one.
Okay.
So that one's a couple of months now.
So workforce is an issue with applications and good quality applicants, yes, so we're.
and these are all budgeted?
Yes, they are. They are not a
Okay.
new position.
Okay. Questions?
Question, but I gotta make sure I don't sneeze here. Yeah, so am I putting this together right, like the per professional case aid, is that, excuse my vernacular here, like a junior, kind of like a junior
Or like
social worker?
A secretary.
It's an administrative
Yes.
position.
Okay, so hence, should be easier to hire for,
Yes.
plus it's a cost savings.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Nope. This is just the process we had to go through to bring it to work session, and then we will see you at the next board meeting?
Yes.
April 16th, right?
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
real good. Thank you, Jackie.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, Breeze.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thank you.
Nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.